Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing another TBR video for yet another readathon. I was actually planning on not doing a readathon this month because I was doing a lot of readathons for this past 2 months really, and I kind of wanted to just take a break, but then I saw this readathon on YouTube thanks to Josh at Beards and Books. So because of that, it looked like it was actually a lot of fun. It's pretty brand new readathon, so I figured I'd just jump in. It's a 2-week readathon, and honestly I think because it's 2 weeks, I don't feel as stressed about it in terms of reading. I think I can read all the books that I plan to read within a 2 weeks time span. Actually, I think I'll finish them prior to 2 weeks, so at least that's what I'm hoping. But anyways, let's just get right into it. So just a few basic information about this readathon. This readathon is called Tome Infinity and Beyond, and it's created by Brushing Bookends. I will link the original video down below. It runs from September 7th to September 21, so technically it's like a 15-day readathon, so just over 2 weeks. So the reason why I want to do this readathon is because it actually sounds really fun. There's actually a map which I will post an image here for your reference as well as down below. But basically you follow the map based on depending on which routes you take, and as you go through each route you can pick different reading challenges, so it's completely customizable depending on your preferences, which I find really interesting. And there's actually a story behind the whole map as well. And as I'm sure you can tell from just the title of this readathon, it is sci-fi related, which means that at this point in time something has happened to the earth as we know it. We need to escape somehow, so there are these 4 space shuttles that we need to escape on, and each space shuttle, to get onto the space shuttle, you need to complete a reading challenge. And so basically these 4 space shuttles, you can pick and choose which one you want to escape on, basically depending on which reading challenge that you want to do. So for me, I decided to pick shuttle A, which means like I'm in it for the long haul, which means that for my first reading challenge it is to read a book over 500 pages. So for this reading challenge I decided to pick up The Lost Queen by Signy Pipe. It has just over 500 pages. I believe there is, according to here, 515 pages, so just over it, which makes it perfect for this challenge. It's like, I was debating between so many different other books, but they're all closer to 1,000 pages, and I was like, I think that's a little bit too extreme for me. I think I want to pick one just 500 pages, so it would be a nice one for this reading challenge. So this book is already compared to Outlander, which I absolutely adored that series, so I'm very excited for it. It says here that it is based on the forgotten queen of 6th century Scotland and the twin sister of the man who inspired the legend of Merlin. So there is bound to be fantasy in this and magic as well, so I am very extremely excited for it. I cannot wait to pick this one up. And the other reason why I'm picking this up is also because I'm trying to read some more of my arcs, and this one just came out on the 4th, so I'm technically a little behind in reading it, but that's okay, just a few days, not a big deal. But this is my first pick for this reading challenge. So I forgot to mention earlier that Brushing Bookends, like the original video, recommended that we visit at least 3 different planets just so we can see and decide, you know, which way I want to live on, because the first one you go to is not always the one that's the best one, right? And plus, as a reading challenge, as a readathon, you do want to read more books than less books, so there are 3 planets, like future planets, that I have to read or go through, and therefore there are 3 reading challenges. So total there should be at a minimum of 4 books for this readathon. So anyways, back to my whole planetary route going on right now. So because I picked shuttle A, the first planet that I go to is Neptune, which is on the really far end because I'm in it for the long haul, right? So I guess Pluto is no longer considered a planet, so it didn't go there. I went to Neptune. So for Neptune, the reading challenge there is to read a sci-fi book with fantasy elements or vice versa. So the book that I picked for this reading challenge is Unwind by Neil Shusterman. I don't have it on hand with me right now. I might actually end up reading this as an ebook because I realized readathons, you always need to have an audiobook, you always need to have an ebook, and then obviously your physical copies, because when you're on the go and stuff, this is such a lifesaver. So this one I might end up getting as an ebook because I have it in my library, but I did have a copy placed on hold at my local library and I'm still waiting for it. So in case that doesn't come on time, at least an ebook will be an option for me. So I also picked this book because it will also fulfill my Read Harder challenge, which is one of my challenges for the whole year, and that is to read a book about social sciences or on social sciences, and this one falls under that category. Also, I was not aware that this book had any fantasy elements in it, but according to Goodreads, a lot of people had shelved this book under as YA fantasy, and this is also sci-fi, like it's a dystopian novel. So for me, it's going to fit for this category. So this book is set in the future, dystopian book as I mentioned earlier, and it basically follows after a second civil war, which is about reproductive rights. And from that war, there is a chilling resolution, which is life is inviolable from the moment of conception to the age of 13. And then from the age from 13 to 18, parents can have their children unwound, which means that their organs can be transplanted to someone else, whereby their lives never really end. So this book kind of reminds me of Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. It kind of has similar elements to it, but regardless, I'm very, very intrigued by it. My sister actually just finished reading it and she liked it, even though it took her a really long time to read it. But I think this would be a really interesting book. So this is the second pick for my whole TBR pile here. So moving on to my second planet, because the first planet clearly was no good. And this one I decided to travel to Uranus, and because of the name, it's supposed to be really funny, if you get what I mean. The challenge for this particular planet is to read a book with some comedy relief. So for this one, I decided to pick Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling. I'll also be reading this via an audiobook, so technically listening to it. I think it's really short too. I think it's only like 4 or 5 hours, so I am hoping to whiz by this really quickly. And this will also fulfill another Read Harder challenge, which is to read an essay anthology. So for those who don't know, this book is just a collection of her short essays where she just talks about her adult life, going into adult life, her life, her in Hollywood, etc. And it's just supposed to be really humorous. Apparently this won Goodreads award, I think like a year or two ago, something like that. I don't remember, but this book was really popular and I've been meaning to pick it up for some time now, so I'm glad that this readathon allows me to pick that one up finally. And then moving on to my final planet, the third planet, because clearly Uranus was not good. I guess I can tell from the name that it was not going to be a great planet for me. So I decided to go to Jupiter, which is a gas giant, which means that the reading challenge for this particular planet is to read a book featuring some sort of giant. So for this reading challenge, I decided to pick up Kill the Farm Boy by Delilah S. Dawson and Kevin Hearn. I got this from BookCon a few months ago. So originally I wasn't really sure if there were giants in this book, because I feel like I was having a difficult time finding books with giants, because I don't think that I have that many on my TBR list to start off with. But this one, after doing some sleuthing on Goodreads, it turns out there is a character in here called Fia, who is a giantess, which means she's a female giant and therefore definitely checks off this reading challenge. So this is the one book that I'm a little worried about, because I've heard great things about the first book, The Lost Queen. I've heard great things about Unwind, great things about Why Not Me. This one though, I've actually heard really mixed reviews on it, so I'm a little hesitant about picking this one up. But basically it's a fairy tale, but not like any other fairy tale that we've known, because there's a chosen one, but he is unlike anyone who's ever been chosen. So it's very vague, but apparently it's about, there's a goat in here, there's a female giant in here, and I guess this guy's a farm boy, hence the title, Kill the Farm Boy. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure what this book is about, so I'm really iffy about this book, but I picked this up during BookCon, so we shall see. So these are all the books I picked up. I only picked 4 books because, which is kind of short. I feel like usually I have a reading challenge for like 24 hours and I pick like a stack of 10 books. And I have a reading challenge here for 2 weeks, like 15 days, and I pick like 4 books. But that's because I want my September, I feel like my September needs to, I need time in September to catch up on my August books. And I have a lot of things I need to catch up on too, because I have a few blog tours coming up that I haven't even read yet, so I really need to get on with that. So all that stuff. So it's September for me is a catch-up month, and therefore this readathon honestly was kind of completely came out of nowhere, so I'm not entirely prepared for it in terms of like my reading. So that's why I decided to just pick 4 books. So I'm really hoping I can finish this within a week or like a week and a half, to be honest. That way I have a few extra days to get on with my rest of my TBRs for the month of September. So I guess this means that my future home is going to be the planet of Jupiter, which isn't the best planet because it's a gas giant, in which case there's no surface, I think. I don't really know much about planets, but I'm assuming from that Jupiter is made of gas. It's like not, there's no actual surface to the planet itself, so I don't even know how I'll live there, but that apparently is going to be my future home, guys. So anyways, that's all I have to say for this video. Let me know down below if you'll be joining me for this readathon. This video sounds really interesting, to be honest. There's so much more you can do. Like after Jupiter, I could have gone to so many different other planets. I was considering going to a different planet because I was like, I don't know if I want to stay at Jupiter, but I was like, I need to calm down with all these TBRs, okay, Stephanie? So this time around, I'm just picking 4. My final destination is going to be in Jupiter, and so let me know down below if you'll be joining me for this readathon. I think it'll be really fun if you do. But anyways, that's all to say for this video. If you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's it for today, guys. Thank you. Bye.